No, Lisa, it's great. It's end of the week, which it's hard to believe we all got through January and February, thank God. So it's been great, but I'm particularly thankful today. I have no real pressure on the day with this coffee chat, because Claire is going to take the reins a bit. So we got our cup of coffee, and thanks, Claire. You came back. You came back.
A bit of a dilemma. The doorbell was ringing it.
I was just after saying it's great Claire's here, because Claire's taking the reins. I don't see you there. So
I was gone.
We got our cup of coffee. I have a cake, Claire, a little bun. Little bun to celebrate. We're celebrating International Women's Day, which I know is Monday, and Claire, this week you've been kind enough to take the reins and really maybe have a chat around all of those things. And we have a couple of people that are on the line that I know you're hoping to sort of chat to. But
yeah,
I suppose one of the backdrops, Claire, on our side, you know, as you know, we always talk about the lack of talent globally, particularly around cybersecurity, and you know, making sure that we have you know, access and retain talent. And one of the key aspects is encouraging young people to join the field of engineering or cybersecurity and things like that, and but particularly young female talent, and you know, making it more appealing and exciting for future generations to sort of fill that skills shortage. But Claire, like I say, I'm delighted. I'm going to take a back seat here and hand it over to you.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no, look at it. I'm delighted to taking over the live coffee chat this Friday, and it's really to celebrate and mark International Women's Day, which is to take place on Monday. So it is great to have you all who've jumped on. Most of you have your cameras on, which is also great. So when we were chatting over the week, we were just saying we put a focus really on females in cybersecurity, as JP has mentioned there. So we are aware there's a shortage of talent in general in cybersecurity, and there's certainly not enough of us out there. And I guess the big push really is with regards to getting more females into cybersecurity. So just when I look there, I know I've had a nice few conversations with Estelle from CompTIA, and we have chatted briefly around females in tech, and you've done some pretty amazing project work in this space. But was hoping, Estelle, if you wouldn't mind at all giving us some insight into the work you're doing in this space, and maybe share some trends that you're seeing, and even you might have some really inspiring stories from females, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us.
Yeah, no worries. Happy to be here. Hi, everyone. Happy to celebrate International Women's Day with everyone. We've got a flurry of things going on, lots of recordings, which is a great thing, because there's so many women that are coming up and putting themselves forward and saying that they would like their voices heard and amplify what we're doing across the industry. I do have Amanda that's on, but she's just sent a note to everyone saying that she's on an urgent call, and that's the nature of being live, right? You just don't know what's going to happen, but I'm happy to cover for Amanda. So one of our projects for the UK community is to follow a female business owner who is a solution provider, if you all do industry speak, a solution provider, and we will follow her for a year. And really identify her goals for the end of that year and work our way back and see how, as a community, we can help and support. And the three goals for that is to obviously, number one, we want to make sure that Amanda succeeds and how we can help with that. The other things that we look to do is it's kind of a broader umbrella, which is a role model. We'd like Amanda to be a role model for other women in the industry to come forward and say, you know, be a part of any kind of community, any kind of network, so that you can learn from others, but also you can share and give back. And Amanda, even before our before our project, she was always very vocal about being a role model, going into schools, high schools. She has a young daughter herself, and being there to talk to young females to say, this is a great industry to come into, to have a great career. So don't dismiss that. Even if you think, oh, I don't have that technical acumen, it's about other skills that you can bring to the table. We are now calling it the power skills, not soft skills, because we think there's a seat at the table, everyone can come in and be a part of the industry. So watch this space. There's actually a video dropping next week with Amanda talking about this as well. So yeah, we're happy to share and also give you some updates throughout the year as well.
Yeah, God, that sounds amazing, because it's certainly a question. I know I have a daughter, and I'm sure there's more people on here who've young kids or small females in their lives. So we were saying it would be great to get further insight and really, I guess, get one piece of advice that you would give to a young girl or anyone for that matter, really, who are interested in cybersecurity. So I can most certainly see that. Yeah, I can really see the benefit in that project. So looking forward to seeing how that unfolds. So yeah, no, thanks Estelle for sharing that. And if anyone has any questions at all as well along the way, by all means, you can pop them into the chat or stop us as well. And I also see there, just having a look, Fiona from WebRoot. How are you? You've just logged in there. Good to see you. I guess I was going to say as well and bring up, I suppose, the many challenges that we have been facing, especially with small kids at home. Fiona, I know you're like myself, I believe you have children. So
yeah.
We've the challenge of really juggling, getting the work done, the dinners done, the homework done. But I guess I'd be interested really in understanding, I suppose, what worked for you, or was there something you figured out along the way that really worked?
No, to be honest with you, it was really tough. Last year when we went to lockdown, I had a 6.5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old. So 6.5-year-old's grand, there's the iPad, off you go. The younger one, it was really, really tough. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna pretend, but my husband was working full time as well. So, it's trying to prioritize the workload. So I think initially when lockdown happened, I was like, okay, grand. Didn't think that I'd be here a year later. So once we got in the swing of things, it was looking at my diary and saying, right, and I think at the start of the week, when do I have calls that I can make and which ones can I move around? And then my husband doing the same. And then when he wasn't on a call, I'd look after the kids if I needed to. So we tried to balance that out. When the kids went back to school and back into childcare, it was a lot easier. It was just like being back at the office. But yeah, no, it was tough. I'm not going to lie. I'm not even going to pretend that it wasn't. But we got through it. I think taking the positives from it, obviously, and not just the women on the call, but the men, is when you have kids, you're getting up at 6:45, you're getting them out the door to childcare, then you're juggling those in school, and then you're going into the office. So the positives for me was, I suppose, working from home through all this, I've been able to do the drop-offs and I've been able to do the pickups. So for me, just looking at the positives, that's what it was. I think as well, it boils down to the employer. Very lucky that I do have an understanding employer that, fully understood, and that I wasn't the only one. Getting into your own head and realizing that you're not the only one in this situation, for me, took a little while. And once you get that, and I had a call, luckily it was with my team, my 3-year-old in the mid-height of the summer, it was super warm, came in, streaked across the back of me. I didn't have, proper streaked. My husband came running in after, grabs him, puts him under his arm. But as he's walking out, his bum is facing the camera, not my husband's, the kid. And then my 7-year-old is at the back doing plus. So I was just sitting in the call going, yeah, this is my world. So, but other people got it. So it wasn't the only one. It definitely wouldn't have made one of those famous Zoom calls, but that was kind of, they still laugh over it. But yeah, look, a lot of people are in the same situation. So I think it just is what it is now. And thank God schools are back. That's all I'll say.
And do you know what, it is great to have these chats as well, to understand, because we, as you said, we're all in the same boat and we're doing the best we possibly can. And for me, I think it was nearly the mindset was to change, that I knew, I suppose I was a bit hard on myself in the beginning, going, I'm not working, I have to go and do this, but it's to put in that focus time. So yeah, I might need to take 2 hours out here, but when I do get back to
Yeah.
to death, you're doing solid work. And
I think the thing is, so my phone, everything's on my phone, my email. So I found if I was leaving, I have this commercial into an office and I was going into the kitchen to make a cup of tea, I was bringing my phone with me. And then the phone was hopping. And I was getting on, I was responding, and all of a sudden I was like, no. So when I leave, the phone is left here. And even if it rings and I'm making a cup of tea, the cup of tea is being made, and then I can come back in. Because if I was in the office, I could be in the kitchen making a cup of tea, having a chat with somebody, so you're not I think you're more available when you're working from home than you are in the office. So it's getting those little breaks. And, you're only talking about 5 minutes or whatever, but yeah, it's leaving the phone behind when I had to do something. That was the big thing.
For sure. Yeah, no, definitely 100%. Can totally resonate on that. And as you said, we're starting to open back up now here. So, and we're coming into the spring. So on the upside of that, that's great. I guess even to open up, sorry, JP, I don't know if you want to say something, but I was going to say, has anyone else anything else to add to that? Or
I'm actually going to prompt. I know I'm going to get in trouble on this one, but just say hello to Courtney. I know Courtney juggles every day of the week, and is a key member in Scout. But how have you found it, Courtney?
Yeah, I don't know if he knows I have a new background here, because I'm downstairs. Because my husband also works full time, and he had to go into the office because he's doing a loan closing, and he has some signed paperwork. He's in banking, and so my daughter popped into the last meeting, so I wasn't sure she might pop in while you were talking. So yeah, but it's in the remote school today, just because there was like a case in the school, so they did remote. So yeah, I can 100% relate, and especially I think now we're in a little more of a routine dealing with separating from work at nighttime, because it's oh, now she heard me. Yeah, so she separating from work is definitely it's been hard in a way, because I feel guilty during the day that I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can't devote 100% of my time, so it's like, let me make it up at night, and then it's like having that wind down time is hard to fit in. So yeah, I think a lot of us can relate, so I totally understand. But then there's such plus sides of it, the commuting time for me such a huge time saver, being able to see the family, help with dinner and everything. So a lot less stress on that side.
Yeah, for sure. There's been a lot of pluses.
What about you, Claire, yourself? What's the one thing that worked out for you?
I think what I was saying there was doing the focus work. So sometimes I change it up. So some weeks, I was getting up at 5:30, doing a few hours straight, taking some time out in the middle of the day, doing homework, might get a cat nap, come back to work. We were juggling because my husband was working as well, so we were kind of yo-yoing. But yeah, I think the kids have settled and they know when they're here in the background, there is a chance they're going to come in, but I guess we're all used to that now at this stage. But yeah, no, I was just doing the focus work, and giving myself a break as well, that, right, you're not going to work 9 hours solid, but taking the time out when needs be. But yeah, I think that was the key thing. And I did get all the benefits. Yeah, the kids are home and all those lovely things as well. But I am looking forward to as well. Everything has been virtual since I've started here. It's nearly been virtual. So I've always worked from home. So I was delighted to be back in the office. So I had 2 weeks of working, obviously, with the team EMEA. And then I was back working from home. So in another sense, I am really looking forward to getting back out there and meeting everyone again. But for Claire, now, we'll make do.
Yeah, Claire, and maybe it's for you or Estelle, but there's the flexibility, I think there's a lot of positive aspects for everybody. But then, Estelle, maybe when you think about going back to your point around encouraging and showcasing female talent in IT or engineering, is it going to be easier to encourage or easier for people to get involved in an industry where maybe it was more difficult, maybe when we're all sort of physically located somewhere?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that I want to touch on, right? One is this was tech's time to shine, right? Like when we all went into lockdown, tech was the one that united everyone and brought people together. There weren't other industries that really stood up. I mean, there was, and my heart goes out to people that worked in the other industries that just fell to their knees. And then that opened up a whole other workforce, right, where they would look to upskill and reskill. Some people that weren't even in industry were looking to come into the technology industry, cybersecurity obviously being super popular. So I think you are going to see a real big influx of people coming in and lots of talent, but also with the mindset of having employers that are super flexible now. They're going, oh, my staff, my contributors, they actually do work when they're not in the office and I'm watching over their shoulder all the time, right? They see that it actually has happened. And to your point as well, there's people that are doing way more, right? They feel guilty, they're putting in more hours. So the concept, it works, right? They understand that people can work from home. So when the job specs come up, it's going to be, you know, not so much on the location, but, you know, what skills, and also hopefully those power skills that I was talking about is also going to shine. But my prediction is that you're going to see a bigger influx of skills coming in, loads more for people to select from, and hopefully that, you know, employers are also more open-minded now that they will cast a wider net and get more talent in that way.
Talent like Amanda and you know, others that are on this call. I'm not sure if Amanda you're still on.
Yeah, I think Amanda's still fighting fires.
That's okay. That's super.
Yeah.
Hey, Claire.
No, you're fine. I guess I was just going to ask with regards to, I suppose, if anyone else had anything they wanted to add. We are rolling up, I know, to.
Well, you know, one thing is just prompting people, Claire, and we'll wrap it up then maybe. But you mentioned, Claire, you've, you know, young daughter. I have 2 young daughters as well here. What's the one thing that I suppose folks that are on this call, they're obviously involved in the industry and have experience and got to where they are, but you know, how do you encourage you know, young people, and particularly young female talent to you know, go down the route we're on now and get involved in the industry? And like, I'm not sure, every week we say it, there's 4 million open cybersecurity positions today. It's a huge problem. It's going to exacerbate over time. So it's not like you know, it's definitely a space that's attractive in terms of employment. But how do you encourage that? Now, Estelle, I know you have the programs lined out, but there might be others they might want to probably, what's that one thing that you'd say to a young 12-year-old joining engineering or any of those programs that might encourage them along the way? Like even Fiona, you have on your side, like it's not necessarily technical either. I mean, you're leading the yeah.
It's like the skill set is so transferable. It's, do you want to see the world? Like I've run global marketing teams. I've had engineers that I've worked with that have moved to the States, female engineers, and down to Australia. Like it really opens up a lot, you know, unlike, you know, careers like accounting or lawyers, where every country they go to, they have to reskill themselves. You know, if you're a lawyer, you know, your qualification in Ireland isn't going to be relevant in the UK or the US. You have to go retrain. With cybersecurity, like we're all, no matter where we are in the world, you know, it's ransomware. It's, you know, it's consistent. So for me, I suppose, like yourselves, these are global. You know, what's to say that somebody from your EMEA team won't, you know, relocate to the North American team, you know, to get that exposure, like the events exposure. So for me, I started off my career in WebSense.
Yeah.
Way back when it was WebSense, it's ForcePoint now. But yeah, I got to see the world. I got to travel, you know, very transferable skill set. So for me, that was, I always wanted to travel, and, you know, I was able to work and travel at the same time. So it was a good, you know, it was a good balance for me. But yeah, that's kind of what I lead with. And I see all my nephews, not my niece and my nephews, you know, they see me going off and working. Well, I suppose it is romantic. The travel is romanticized a little bit, because we all know it's not that great. But, you know, it can have its advantages. And, you know, I've been to a lot of places that, you know, I've been out to China a good few times, and it's probably somewhere where I wouldn't have gone personally, but I've been there professionally a couple of times. So it's that type, and it's getting into the schools. You know, I think we'll probably see the next generation. A lot of colleges are offering the cybersecurity courses, whereas they didn't when I was in college, and even coming up behind me, they weren't. But they are starting to offer the cybersecurity courses now. So you probably will see an influx, but there'll be a gap of a few years until we get to that point.
Yeah, and I think even on the, thanks very much, Fiona, I think it reiterates the importance of having the role models. So having those people out there for the next generation as well to see, and monkey see, monkey do as well. So don't to say that. So people watching us, I suppose, progressing and traveling and whatever else, will certainly encourage the next generation to follow our paths. But look, it is definitely great. It's funny. It's a topic that could go on, and it is really interesting. Maybe we could probably certainly have a similar content on a live coffee chat again another Friday. But we tend to keep these to the 15 minutes. And yeah, it's been great to hear from a lot of you. And tune in any Friday. We have these conversations running all the time, different subject matters, but all welcome. And yeah, I think we'll call it from here and say to everyone, have a good weekend. And if you have any questions at all, you can reach out to us direct. But thank you everyone who joined, and Estelle as well, for taking the time out of your day. It's Friday, so everyone go and have a good weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.